right, guys, what is going on? Welcome in. So, look, as Jets fans, we all know what happened yesterday, right? A complete and utter nightmare from top to bottom. And look, you can point your finger at a bunch of different reasons on why the New York Jets lost yesterday. I mean, turnovers and penalties and inability to contain Josh Allen, right? Keep him inside the pocket, lack of game preparation. What else? The play calling, not force feeding Le'Veon Bell the football, overthrowing guys. The list goes on and on and on and on. But in this video, I wanted to take a second to highlight, a couple of guys that to me personally stood out. I watched every play, every second of that game, and yes, the Jets got humiliated. It was definitely a tough game to watch, tough game to sit through as a whole. But there is a silver lining. There are a couple guys that performed yesterday that I thought played really, really well. And I actually want to make this a continued trend throughout the course of the season, where I follow up every game day with a video talking about, or pretty much highlighting, a couple of players that I thought, again, personally did really well. So let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right in. The first player that stood out to me that needs to be talked about, that needs to be addressed, left tackle, rookie out of Louisville, Makai Bechten. Bechten dominated, And yeah, he gave up a sack. I get that. He gave up a sack. But when you look at the complete body of work, for first quarter, second, third, and fourth quarter, everything combined, the entire game, Makai Bechten playing in his first game, did extremely well. Going up against that defense in their house, he was manhandling guys. He was taking guys, throwing them all across the field, trucking guys, pancaking guys. And by the way, the two biggest knocks on Makai Bechten coming out of the draft: he's really raw, right? He's not refined at all. He's not polished. And pass protection is an issue. Yesterday, he's manhandling Jerry Hughes, veteran pass rusher for the Buffalo Bills. He's handling him like it's nothing, So Makai Bechten, to me, my hat goes off to you. What a rookie debut. Again, I'm not saying he's the best left tackle in the league, or that the Jets found, the Jets just drafted the next whatever, Laramie Tunsil or what have you, the next great left tackle that's going to be like top 3 in every category. But all I'm saying is yesterday, from what we saw yesterday, Makai Bechten looks legit. He looks like he's going to be the future guy. Granted, it's one game. I totally understand that. I don't want to jump the gun. But for Makai Bechten to go out there and for him to absolutely crush his two weaknesses that everybody had on him. He's too raw. He's going to need time. He's going to need time on the bench. You should probably play him at right tackle because he's not polished enough yet. Pass protection might be an issue. He went out there and just shut everybody up, and it was such an amazing thing to watch, because the New York Jets, as you know, as I know, we've had so many troubles on the offensive line. It's really looking like Bechten can be a sure thing over there on the left tackle position. So with that said, let's move on to the second player, safety. Strong safety, Marcus Maye. Get used to that, because he's going to be taking Jamal Adams' position this year at that strong safety position, right? Kind of that box guy. And what a debut that Marcus Maye had at that position. I got the stats right here. 7 solo tackles, 10 combined total tackles, a forced fumble, 2 pass defenses, and 2 sacks. Marcus Maye was flying all across the field yesterday, and it was really interesting too, because when I think back in recent memory when Marcus Maye came out of UF, the New York Jets, obviously it was the same year that Maye was drafted. It was the same year that Adams was picked as well. It was always Jamal that really, really flashed. Maye would make a play here, he would make a play there, whether it was like an interception or a pass defense, what have you, or a big hit. But it was always Jamal, right? Jamal was always the guy in the box. He was always the guy around the quarterback. He was always the guy just making the big hit or the big play or the tackle for loss or something. But yesterday, it legit looked like Jamal Adams was still playing for the New York Jets, just wearing number 20. It was totally, totally cool. And that's super encouraging for us Jets fans, because, we trade away Jamal Adams. Not only do we get multiple first-round picks, and we also get, our starting free safety, who is Bradley Mcdougall, who, I thought had a decent, average game. But still, Marcus Maye looks like he can fill right into Jamal Adams' shoes and perform really, really well. Again, all things considered, I know Allen set his personal career high in passing yards and whatnot, and he did his thing on the ground. But when you're looking at just a solo performance, Marcus May did his thing. Next up, Blession Austin, cornerback. Austin in this game, especially in the first half, he was literally like the only guy making plays. He was all around the field. He was making those tackles. He was coming up. The one thing I always liked about Austin, watching him a lot in preseason and then towards the tail end of last year, he was never afraid. And for a guy that had a major injury to the lower body, his last year in college, it's kind of shocking to see a guy be that aggressive and that willing to come and fly downhill and make hits. It's really rare, but it's awesome to see. Blession Austin, again, going into his first season as a full starter. Remember, he did beat out Quincy Wilson. He's starting opposite of Pierre Desir. And remember, Josh Allen, again, set the passing record, all that stuff. But keep in mind, we're going up against that Jets defense, going up against that Bills offense, again, in their house. It's a tough thing to do when you're looking at Blession from a solo, just how did he do as opposed to the entire New York Jets team. I mean, Blession can't be in 10 other places at once. He can only do what he needs to do, and for the most part yesterday, everything that was asked of him, he did really well. Really well. And it's encouraging too, because when was the last time the New York Jets drafted a cornerback super late, like just out of nowhere, and then he turns into the starter, and all of a sudden he's really well, and he's holding his own out there with guys like Stephon Diggs and John Brown. So again, this is all one game. It's all just kind of looking at everything kind of through a tunnel here, just analyzing this one game. But to me, Makai Bechten, Blession Austin, Marcus May, my hat goes off to all three of those guys. They did really well. They were the silver lining in yesterday's mess of a game, and I do believe that all three of those guys need to be talked about, need to be highlighted for their performances yesterday. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who did you guys think stood out? And I know that might sound a little weird considering how yesterday's game went, but if you take everything with a grain of salt and kind of keep everything just kind of analyzing yesterday's game just as a one game kind of thing, and just looking at how each player did just their solo performances, I think you'll be surprised on how a couple of guys played. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, thanks so much for watching, and go Jets.